Pain rushed through him, and warm, thick blood trickled down his spine. Electricity coursed through his body as he tried to stand. A new type of energy had infected him and continued to change his anatomy. Stephan rushed over to him. "Alex, are you okay?" The pain was too great for him to speak. His whole body was on fire. His vision was darkening, and it was becoming difficult to keep his eyes open. "You did great. Come on, let's get you to the medical bay." Stephan helped him to his feet, looping his arms under his shoulder to steady him as they walked. A temporary medical bay was situated behind the ritual room. Alex couldn't keep his eyes open. If he had, he would have seen that he was by far the bloodiest. "Hi," Stephan muttered, frantically adjusting Alex slightly as he spoke. "He's just had his initiation. He's lost a lot of blood and is in a lot of pain." "Room 5 is currently available," replied an irritated receptionist, rifling through paperwork as they spoke. "Wait in there and someone will be with you shortly." "Thanks." Stephan half carried, half dragged Alex down the corridor, new wings dragging heavily behind them. The dull yellowish-coloured walls of the examination room had begun to spin as Stephan laid Alex on the bed. He closed his eyes, worried he might be sick if he kept them open. His head was throbbing, his whole body ached, and the blood continued to trickle from his back. "Hey Alex, are you okay? Can you hear me?" Stephan's voice sounded muffled. Alex grunted in response. "It's okay, the doctors shouldn't be much longer. They're always busy in initiation day." As Stephan said this, Dr. Rosemary burst through the door, pulling the stethoscope from around her neck. She was a sharp woman, with long grey hair, tinted with greens and blues, which was tied back in a bun. Her glasses sat neatly on her face, discreetly hiding the large bags underneath her eyes. The white lab coat she wore had clearly seen better days. It was stained with multicoloured substances, and the medical division patch was peeling off. "I hate initiation day," she muttered to herself as she rubbed her eyes tiredly. "Right, what seems to be the problem?" "Whoa." Dr. Rosemary stopped in her tracks. Gazing down at Alex, she pressed her fingers to her forehead, annoyed at the scene in front of her. "Jesus, Stephan, couldn't you have cleaned him up first before bringing him here? There's blood everywhere." She glared over at Stephan and waved her hand half-heartedly, causing the blood to vanish from the floor. "Right, Alex, can you hear me?" Alex grunted. It was the only thing he could manage. "Drink this. It will replenish the blood you lost." She handed him a small vial filled with red liquid. Stephan opened it for him while Dr. Rosemary continued to examine him. "Ugh, what's that?" Alex coughed frantically. "Restorative draft," she said briefly, helping him sit up. "It should start kicking in a few minutes now. Let's have a look at you." She stepped behind him and examined his back, clicking her fingers every few minutes to summon different types of medical equipment, mainly things to help clean up the dried blood. Every time she touched him, a shock of pain would shoot through him. "This is very, very interesting," she muttered to herself, gently pulling the wings to their full extent. Wings are a very rare mutation. I've only seen one other person with them, and they were nothing like this. "Do you mind if we take a quick scan? Just to check everything's okay." Alex nodded absent-mindedly. "How are you feeling?" "Dizzy," Alex answered honestly, gripping his forehead, "and still in pain." "Do you think you can stand?" Alex shook his head hesitantly. "Okay, drink this." She pulled another vial and handed it to him. "When you're up to it, there's a small washroom just through there. Take your time, get yourself cleaned up." She placed a towel and a gown to change into at the end of the bed. "The cool water will also help relieve some of the pain. I'll be back later to take you for your scan." "Yeah, okay," Alex said, overwhelmed with everything that had just happened. Dr. Rosemary gave him a quick, exhausted smile before she turned and walked briskly out of the room. "How are you feeling?" Stephan asked, sitting next to him on the bed. "Good." He blinked and the focus. "I think the potions are finally kicking in." "Fair enough," Stephan chuckled. "You did brilliantly, though, all things considered." "Yeah? I don't feel like it at the minute," he grimaced as he moved to sit up better on the bed. "You did a lot better than me." Stephan glanced bitterly down at his wrist for a moment.
He looked as if he were going to say how it happened, but then he shook his head. Do you want a hand getting cleaned up? No, I should be okay, he smiled, pushing himself off the bed. Ah, fair enough. I'll go and get some bits for you. Is there anything you want? Alex couldn't think of anything, and shook his head, and turned to the washroom. Not that I can think of. Stephan gave him a wave and left the medical bay. Alex studied himself in the mirror, finally able to examine his new appearance. 2 angelic, white, feathery wings hung from his back. His eyes were different as well. No longer the pale green that he was used to, but a hawk-like yellow. Alex noticed how much blood he'd actually lost. The tattered remains of his shirt and jeans were completely soaked. He should have asked Stephan for a new set of clothes. A sense of relief washed over him. With the water of the shower, the water felt purifying, temporarily taking his pain away. It was strange. His body didn't feel like his anymore, especially when the wings flapped uncontrollably and smacked him. He dried himself and changed into the gown, grateful that his back was no longer hurting. Stephan was waiting in the room as Alex exited the shower, holding a drink in a small carrier bag. I picked up some snacks and clothes for you. I doubt you want to go home in the stuff you came in today. Alex laughed awkwardly. Thanks. Your mum's already asked me how you are. A malicious grin spread across Stephan's face, as his own face flushed. I've told you you're in the medical bay. She'll probably be up in 5 minutes. What did you tell her? Stephan laughed and shoved him playfully. Relax. I've just told her that you're fine and getting examined. Thought I'd let you tell her about the wings. Stephan handed him his drink. You should get some sugar in you. How's the pain? Not bad. He stretched his back and his wings spread out to the fullest extent. My back's killing though. I'm not surprised. The doctor should be back soon. Alex took a sip of his drink. One of the wings whacked Stephan. Hey, Stephan laughed, spitting out some of his own drink as he did so. What was that for? Sorry, they've got a mind of their own. It's fine. You'll get used to them soon enough. The doctor will be able to recommend someone to help you with them. Although, I think you've already got someone in mind. There was a sharp knock at the door. Speak of the devil, Stephan grinned as Dr. Rosemary poked her head round the door. Right, Alex, come with me. Yeah. Alex handed Stephan his drink and followed Dr. Rosemary through to a different examination room. The room was lined with a range of medical machinery. Screens and dials sat behind a desk where Dr. Rosemary sat. Right, lay down on the bed. This should only take a few moments. He laid down on his stomach and tried to tuck his wings in, but they just flopped down either side of him. Don't worry about not getting them on the bed. The scanner will pick them up, she said as though she'd read his mind. The scanner buzzed to life, making strange jittering sounds as it examined the body. Fascinating. Your whole skeletal structure has changed. You might notice that your walking style has changed, probably to accommodate the weight of your wings. Your bone density seems to be different too. With some training, you should be able to fly. Fly? What do you mean fly? Alex asked, confused, as though it had never crossed his mind, especially since the wings seemed uncontrollable. I don't see why not, but you might need a few months of training, if not years. You've essentially grown 2 new limbs. It's going to take some time to master, which I recommend you do before you go on any missions exploring the realms, she said with a stern expression on her face, reminding him an awful lot of his mother. Okay, doctor. What about my eyes? He sat up and she gave him a quick look over, clearly not as fascinated with his eyes as she was with his wings. Just a standard transformation. I've seen many similar cases after making a deal with Mycelius. Has your vision changed at all? Alex looked around the room. It looks like it's gotten a little better. Then I wouldn't worry too much. She gave him a reassuring smile. I've seen a lot worse. I would focus on your wings, but if you're worried about your eyes, I can give you an eye test in a couple of weeks' time. Yes, doctor, and what about this? Alex held out his wrist for the doctor to examine. She smiled and pulled out a laminated document with different magic symbols depicted on it. This one? she asked, pointing to a circle with 2 vertical lines down the centre. Yes. It's a mark from your agreement with Mycelius. Only you will be able to see it. It's so that no other human will know that you've made a deal with a demon. Ask Stephan to show you his. You won't be able to see it. Anything else? No, Doctor. She led him back to waiting room 5, where Stephan was playing on his phone, his drink floating beside him. What's the news? Stephan asked eagerly, hastily shoving his phone in his pocket. Painkillers and training. He can start tomorrow after a well-deserved rest. And if he feels up to it, she turned to face Stephan with a stern expression. Stephan, have you been taking your medication? Yes, Doctor, he said, not meeting her eyes. And reduced your magic usage? Mostly, Stephan muttered, self-consciously, catching the floating soda can. Show me your wrist. She held out her hand like a mother disciplining a child. Stephan, still avoiding her gaze, begrudgingly held out his bandaged arm. Alex watched in astonishment as Dr. Rosemary unwrapped the bandage, not expecting the sight that met his eyes. Beneath the bandage was a blackened, burnt arm. You need to stop using magic, otherwise it's going to spread faster, Dr. Rosemary breathed, a slow, sad sigh. I'll force you to wear a Gorgon chain if you don't. Yes, Doctor, Stephan said guiltily, as he rebandaged his arm, averting both their gazes. You're doing them too tightly, she snapped, ignoring Stephan's protest and snatching the bandage off him in order to wrap them properly. Alex, I'm referring you to a specialist with the Exploration Division. Stephan, reduce your magic use and take your medication, and I'll see you on Thursday for your checkup, okay? Yes, Doctor, they both said together. And, Stephan, make sure you look after Alex. Stephan wrapped his arm around Alex. Nah, I'm going to push him off a cliff as soon as we enter the realms, Stephan replied, ruffling Alex's hair. Dr. Rosemary rolled her eyes and placed her hands onto their forehead. Good luck with him, Alex. He's a pain in the ass. When Dr. Rosemary left, Alex changed his clothes, something that was made rather difficult because of his wings. Eventually, Stephan had to make slits in the back for him to poke his wings through. I didn't realise how scary Dr. Rosemary could be. She always seemed quite nice whenever I'd seen her before, Alex said, as a shiver ran down his spine. As he said this and prayed she wasn't around to hear them. She was worse than my mother. Yeah, she can be, Stephan sniggered. But at least you don't have to see her weekly. Also, he paused and fished around for something in his pocket. Speaking of mothers, yours is calling me, so... Stephan chucked his phone at him and walked slightly ahead of him, forcing him to confront the inevitable and tell his mother what happened. Alex caught up to Stephan after reassuring his mum several times that he was okay and everything was fine. Yeah, no problem, Stephan said, taking the paper bag from the doctor he'd been talking with. Thanks, Dr. Jensen. I'll see you later. No problem, Dr. Jensen beamed before leaving the pair. She seemed a lot happier than Dr. Rosemary had been. Stephan didn't say anything at first. Instead, he sat on a bench further down the corridor, pulling at the bandages on his wrist. Thanks for that, Alex said, nudging Stephan as he sat down. She's having kittens. Now you know what I've had to put up with all morning, Stephan chuckled, but his gaze didn't leave his wrist. I swear she's crazy. Alex's gaze followed Stephan's to his wrist. He wanted to ask, but... I know you want to ask, Stephan said. Cutting down on magic usage, and this medication, his grip tightened on the bag, is really the only thing they can suggest. Still, it could be worse. I knew someone who got turned inside out, and it took 3 weeks for them to pass away. I heard one person turn to stone. Stephan didn't look at him. Yeah, she was in my recruitment group. She's still conscious. They've been monitoring her brainwaves. At least she's got something good, though. It's better than this. Stephan raised his fist. A little of the black mass peeked through the bandages. You've never shown it to me before, Alex said awkwardly. Stephan looked embarrassed and began removing the bandages, revealing ash-like skin beneath it. It's not something I'd like to show off. There were veins of molten lava that ran beneath the mass, providing a strange, ominous glow that Alex hadn't noticed before. I didn't want it to affect your decision. I've known you for a long time, and how much you've wanted to go to the realms. I didn't want you to worry. Like it would have stopped me, Alex smirked. Is there any way to cure it? Alex asked, not sure whether or not he wanted to hear the answer. Stephan took a deep breath, and several sparks flew from his mouth. Nope, you've heard Commander Wilson and Mycelius. It's a deal that lasts a lifetime. I'm sure it'll cover my body in a few years' time. Alex knew this wasn't the whole truth. Stephan always averted his gaze when he was lying. What is it? It's some form of petrification. It was only a spot when it first started, but it spreads if I use a lot of magic or perform heavy-duty spells. He rotated his arm gently as he spoke, showing the true extent of the injury, which sucks since I'm mainly a magic user, but I've been practicing with enchanted weapons, so it's becoming more manageable. He shuddered. Anything better than wearing a Gorgon chain. The name had rung a bell for Alex, but he couldn't place where he'd heard it before. What's a Gorgon chain? You know the criminals of Avernus? Alex nodded. They're forced to wear them. It's attached to either your arm or your leg, and it blocks the flow of magic and stops you from using magic completely. I'd rather not have one if I can avoid it. His voice grew bitter, and he gritted his teeth, flexing his blackened fingers. Though eventually, I might have to. There was a moment of silence between the pair, as Stephan redid his bandages. Alex watched him, and a thought crossed his mind. I suppose it isn't easy to hide, though. Not like these, he gestured at his back, where the wings were lifting his t-shirt slightly. How am I supposed to go out in public like this? Stephan laughed a little before answering, relieved in the change of subject. Give it a few days to heal first, and then we'll go down to the armory and get you fitted with a harness or something. Just something to help you hide them in public. It's probably better than what you've got now, he smirked. You're looking a little hunchbacked, plus the slits we've made are a little rough. Stephan patted him on the back. Alex winced in pain. Ouch! Hey! Alex punched him in the shoulder. That hurt. Stephan laughed. That was the weakest punch I've ever felt. Ha, thanks, Alex mocked, punching him harder in the arm, which only caused Stephan to laugh harder. What about today, though? The wings quivered slightly as he spoke. Don't worry about it. My car's parked near the entrance, so no one will see you. And the buildings we live in are owned and run by the organization. Only magical people live in there. So I wouldn't worry. But I've never seen anyone. You don't think you remember seeing anyone. A lot of agents are well versed in hiding their mutations or injuries. You know Miss Smith, who lives beneath us? Yeah, Alex said hesitantly. He'd only met her a few times. She was a little old lady who always told him and Stephan they looked unfed. She has tentacle hair. Does she? Alex said, thinking back to his interactions with Mrs. Smith. Can't say I've ever noticed them. You wouldn't. You're so oblivious to things, he laughed. She's literally carried her shopping with them. Did you not hear her grandson telling her off for it? Well, shit, Alex smacked his forehead, as all the odd incidents around the building finally click into place. Stephan's laughter followed them into the car. The drive home was interesting, to say the least. Alex found it extremely awkward to sit in the car. He would constantly readjust himself, though half the time he would sit on the wings, and they would pull the torn skin on his back. This only lasted a few minutes, however. Stephan had stopped the car in aggravation and told him to lie down along the back seats. He'd been absent-mindedly whacking Stephan in the back of the head with the wings, and he couldn't focus on driving. Their flat wasn't massive. The kitchen and the living room were combined together, with a sort of corridor towards the back, for the bathroom and the bedrooms. Sit down, I'll make us a drink. I've got to feed Fluffy anyway. Alex tried to sit down. It took him a few minutes to figure out how to move the wings without sitting on them. He wasn't getting the hang of it at all. Minutes later, Stephan came walking through to the living room, holding 2 cups of tea. His Fluffy wrapped around his neck, nuzzling him affectionately. Who's a little cutie pie? Yes, you are, Stephan whispered to her as he placed the mugs down on the coffee table. Yes, you are. Who's a cutie pie? Fluffy is. Fluffy was a snake, a small, bright green python with diamond scales and majestic yellow eyes. She was his familiar. Familiars were the pests of the demon world, typically found on Earth. They could be seen causing mischief and mayhem for humans. A lesser demon would only become a familiar when a person bared their soul before them. They were strange creatures, which represented the soul and were bonded to their partners for life. I still can't believe, out of all the names you could have picked for her, you picked Fluffy. Stephan gave him a strange look as he picked her up and gave her a kiss on the nose. I didn't pick it. She did. Fluffy nodded her head enthusiastically. Didn't you, Fluffy? Who's my clever girl? Yes, you are. Fluffy flicked her tongue, giving Stephan little kisses as he spoke. It was odd, seeing someone with the reputation of Stephan going all mushy over such a small creature. Right, Alex said, not completely convinced. He heard the story 100 times and still didn't believe him. However, Alex would be lying if he said he didn't find it funny when people came over expecting a cat or a dog and cringe in fear as Stephan pulled out a snake. When she'd had enough fuss, Fluffy slithered over and inspected Alex's wings. Her face contorted as he petted her head. Do you not like them, Fluffy? She tilted her head before examining the wings closer. She's just curious. You know what she's like. She doesn't do well with change. Stephan smiled lovingly at Fluffy as she made her way back over to him and sat comfortably on his lap. So how are you feeling? I know the initiation can be quite difficult. I don't know how I feel, to be honest. I mainly don't know what to do with these. His wings twitched uncomfortably. I don't know if I'll ever get used to them. Relax, Stephan said, taking a sip of his drink. Only your first day with them. You'll get used to them eventually. Did you not see the person who's half kangaroo? Imagine having to get used to that, he smiled reassuringly. You'll be fine. You just gotta learn to live with it. Alex shrugged and gripped his mug tighter. Yeah, I know, Stephan snorted, and Alex asked, confused. What's up with you? Your wings flutter when you get nervous. Alex's face flushed, which caused his wing to flutter more. What? I noticed it a few times since the doctor's office. He wiggled his fingers mockingly as he repeated, They flutter a little when you get nervous. Shut up, Alex said, thumping at Stephan's arm, and caused him to spill a little bit of his tea down his shirt. Hey, calm down. Just because you ruined a shirt today doesn't mean you have to ruin mine. He clicked his fingers, and the spilt tea stains vanished from his shirt. Come on, let me get us something to eat. Alex stopped and stared aghast at Stephan. You're not cooking, are you? The last time Stephan cooked, he nearly burnt the kitchen down and ended up melting one of the pan handles. Alex never knew what exactly had happened, although he imagined Stephan tried to speed up the cooking process using magic, and he got a bit too enthusiastic. Nah, I thought we'd order in. He leant back and pulled his phone out of his pocket. Celebrate you officially starting at Hades. Haha, okay. Pizza? Okay? Yeah, sounds good to me, Alex breathed, a sigh of relief. His stomach still hadn't recovered from the last time Stephan had cooked. Once they had finished their meal, Alex bid Stephan goodnight and retreated to his room. No sooner had he settled in than his phone started to ring. Hi, Dad. Hey, Al. How did your initiation go? His father's voice was bright with curiosity. I think it went well, Alex replied, a hint of uncertainty in his tone. What mutation did you get? His father pressed, a light note of panic in his voice. You didn't mention it earlier. Alex hesitated and then laughed quietly. You don't miss a beat, do you? I've got, He paused, nervous about his parents' reaction. His mum's voice interrupted him. Oh my God, I bet he's disfigured. Alex could picture his mum trying to fight her way to the phone. What did that demon lord do to you? Calm down, Mum. I've got wings. Great, big, fuck off angel wings. He tried to make the light of the situation, but his nerves showed. Don't you swear, his mum shot back. That's brilliant, Al. Considering the possibilities, that's a fantastic result. They'll be really useful in the realms. I hope so. Training starts soon, Alex said, wings tensing as nerves crept into his stomach. It should be interesting. You'll do brilliantly. And with Stephan watching over you, I doubt anything can go wrong, his father reassured him. I hope so, Alex repeated, feeling his cheeks flush as his wings trembled nervously, causing several feathers to drift to the floor. How's Paris, anyway? Nothing too serious. Just an unauthorized coven, mostly promoting healing and positive energies. The most threatening thing they've done is a peaceful protest. Everything's good over here. Your mum's becoming quite popular with them. His mum snapped in the background. Oh, shut up. He could feel his mum blushing over the phone. Everyone should know a bit of self-defense magic. Alex laughed with relief, letting his tension fade. Right. We'll let you go. Let us know how the training goes.
Say hi to Stephan for us. And his father paused, relief audible in his voice. Please apologise to him for your mum, for ringing him so much today. I'm not going to apologise, his mum interrupted. Stephan knew what he was signing up for. Alex heard his dad's exasperated sigh. I'm sure he didn't. Anyways, we'll talk soon, Al. Stay safe, both of you, his mum called. Love you. Love you too. Alex hung up and flopped on his bed, his wings embracing him as he did so. They were astonishingly soft. They folded around him, making the gentlest, coziest blanket he'd ever felt. Considering everything that he'd been through that day, he drifted to sleep surprisingly quickly, briefly reflecting on how much he'd changed today, and whether or not he'd be the same again.